Well, look, I've got a different background yet again. Like I said, I'm still experimenting. Welcome to my video log of my current style of eating. I am not eating sugar, I'm not eating flour, I'm not eating pop, drinking pop. So you already know that if you saw some of the other videos. What I want to talk about today, though, is emotional eating. I literally did not think that I was an emotional eater. If we're eating too much, if we're eating more than what we need, there's got to be something else at play other than hunger, right? You ate 3 meals that day, or you had a big lunch. You're not like physically hungry, right? So something must be triggering you to eat. But I literally didn't think I was an emotional eater, because anytime something emotional happened to me, big emotion is what I'm talking about. Like, say, a breakup, or someone is sick in your family, or someone's mean to you, or you're in a fight. Those like big emotional things are what I would consider emotional eating kind of moments. And I did not have I don't eat at those. I'm the opposite at those moments. I'm nervous or anxious, or my stomach is upset when I have something that would be considered a big emotion. Big emotion, okay? So, but that made me think I wasn't an emotional eater. That means I must not be triggered by drama that's happening in my life. I'm reverse triggered, if anything. But obviously, I must be somehow eating for some reasons other than just hunger. So I want to talk about, what if what we think about emotional eating is completely wrong? What if it isn't the big emotional trigger, like a breakup or a death or moving or someone mean to you or a fight? What if the emotional trigger for our eating is small? I'm going to tell you about a little thing that happened to me. It's absolutely a first world problem kind of thing. This is not a big deal that happened. But I was out, my husband and I were out during the day, and he wanted to walk around the bookstore, and I didn't. So I said, well, I'm going to go next door to Old Navy. Went to Old Navy, and I saw this sweater, and I'm just kind of hungry. It was kind of like after lunch, but not dinner, that kind of a danger zone. Saw a sweater I wanted to buy, go in line to buy it, and the line is like just dozens and dozens of people long. And I thought, I don't need this sweater. This is just me buying something to, whatever, buy something. So I put the sweater down. And then I decided I'm going to walk back to the bookstore and just see what my husband's up to. And I started to feel, I don't know, frustrated a little bit, or something wasn't right. So I'm walking around the bookstore, and it was a Barnes & Noble. And you can smell good smells in their little cafe. And I'm like, whoa, I know I shouldn't have some frothy coffee thing with a bunch of stuff on top of it, or a Rice Krispie treat, those big ones that they have there, or a cookie, whatever. They have a lot of those kind of things there at the bookstore. So I recognized it, and I'm like, you know what, hon, I'm still not going to walk around this store. I'm going to go next door to TJ Maxx. That ought to be fine, right? Again, we're killing time till we've got someplace to go. We kind of just walking around at this shopping situation. But so I've been thwarted. I didn't get the sweater. I walked away from whatever was at the Barnes & Noble cafe that was smelling really good. Then I walked into TJ Maxx, and I walked straight back to those food things that they have, right? So they have popcorn, caramel popcorn, special chocolates, special chips, special everything, right? And I am standing there with my hands on those items, and I want those items. I hadn't been cheating, or I hadn't been going off my plan for, it had been 15 or 16 days, but all of a sudden I was seconds away from just taking that food and buying it and eating it in the car and whatever. So I recognized it, right? So I'm like, I got to get out of these shopping situations. So I walked to the car, and I sat down. I had some water. I actually had packed some fruit for just such an occasion, something that would make me feel nourished but not out of control. Ate the fruit, calmed it down, and I recognized that what I was having was an emotional eating response. I wanted to eat because, for whatever reason, I was disappointed that I couldn't buy the stupid sweater that I wanted to buy. I was frustrated because I associate Barnes & Noble with the book and the treat. And then even TJ Maxx. Well, I associate that with some sort of reward, some sort of I got a great deal, some cool outfit, a great gourmet food that is cheaper. All of those things were associated with, I don't know, a reward that I didn't allow myself. And I was mad. I was mad and frustrated. And I have to say, the only thing that helped me was to actually sit there and recognize it. That I was about to emotionally make some food choices because of the way I was feeling, even though they were small things. I wasn't in a fight with my husband. We weren't in any sort of high stress situation. They were small, little teeny stress moments. And they added up to me wanting to give myself that food comfort. It's kind of a revelation to me. Maybe I am an emotional eater, but it's not the big emotions. It's the small, everyday, indignities or things that upset me. One time I got a bad review on one of my books, and it made me think, well, heck with it. I'm going to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. See, I didn't think at the time that that's what I was doing, that I was having an emotional response, but I was. So I'm really committed to trying to figure out what things, the small things that are emotional, that are pushing me towards choices that I don't want to make, that are taking me off of my intuitive eating, that are taking me off of my intention to eat a certain way. Recognize those things and try to manage them a little bit better. In this case, I had my portion of fruit that I wanted to have, and I had that, and I had a little water, and I had a little come to Jesus moment with myself, that I was having an emotional response. Even though it wasn't a big deal, it was enough of a deal for me to be kicked off of my plan. So, something to think about. You may not think you're an emotional eater because it has to go with some big drama, but maybe it's just the little drama that is causing your daily food responses and losing your mojo, or whatever you want to call it. So that was my revelation. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big thing. It could be a little thing that's making you eat to handle an emotion.